Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays, the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We will not continue our old run, because I started that with the HOTUS. 7+ heart containers. Judas is locked. What do you mean beating 2 levels without taking... I got Basement Boy last time. Not picking up hearts for 2 levels. Beating Greed Mode with Azazel. Well, that should be tough. Unlocked by beating... Delirium? We'll play as... No! This is an outrage. Absolutely not. Well, let's see what the item room is. Absolutely not. Quit. I don't care about a streak. We're free from that. Hard mode, Kane. We don't play normal mode in this household. Now we've unlocked the womb. And we can actually have runs. Well, there goes that unlock for now. We can actually have runs that in all likelihood will be slightly more realistic length compared to the one that we just had. Check this out. Easy money. All right. I'm good to go. Feeling strong. Feeling good in Isaac terms. And to be honest with you, I think it's apparent, like, it's hard to say no to that, or hard to let go of that second save file. I almost wrote like a modern Kelly Clarkson song. Hard to say no, hard to let go of the save file you've been working on for 2 years. Okay, maybe you probably would have to rework a little of the lyrics to be not about a video game save file. But dude, I mean, save file 2, that's like my WoW 120 character, or 120 level character. Now, I'm saying that I have no knowledge of how many hours it takes to get a level 120 character in World of Warcraft. As I understand it, it's a lot easier now. Every expansion, they've given you like a token that you can use to super level or something. And anyway, like, I was just trying to get a metaphor there that made sense. I was just trying to say there's a lot of connection, okay? But that's okay. We got to remember the save file's not gone. We just, we put it up on our wall. We mounted it like a large honker. That's a fish, by the way, not a goose. And we can look at it whenever we please, and remember that we did that. Twice. Excuse me, where did my poop go? Tyrone, this is outrageous. I pressed the spacebar and my poop did not appear on the screen. There goes my 15% chance to get a red heart or a penny. I gotta go. Well, money is great. Just in general, I suppose. But also... Red heart. But also in Isaac. Monster, I've already got your tooth. You don't need to show up here. What I would like you to do is give me a key. So that I, or maybe like latch keys, so I could get 2 keys, go to the shop, maybe find a donation machine and start pumping some money into that so that our shops are not useless for the long-term future. I hope, at the very least. So we came into the save file anecdote rich. I don't want to let you down. We talked about British television, magic, etc., etc. What else can we talk about now? Dude, I want to know, it's a great item, by the way. What is your, let's say you're in a Starbucks or a coffee shop, busy place, 1 bathroom. What is your methodology when you go to the bathroom, but the door is closed? Do you knock first? Do you jiggle the handle, and then if it's unlocked, go in? Or do you, if it's locked, you wait outside? Or do you just stand outside for like the length of time that it would take a reasonable person to use the bathroom and then proceed from that point? But I think we're gonna have like knockers and jigglers. Those are gonna be like the top 2 percentages. I'll tell you straight away, I'm a jiggler. I would also prefer to never be knocked. As much as this sounds like maybe, in a lot of situations I think knocking is polite. But if I'm in a public bathroom, like at a restaurant, I'm already a little embarrassed to be defecating in public. I don't want to have to go, it's occupied. You know, if you just jiggle the lock, you'll be aware of the fact that there's a person inside of the room to begin with. So, I would like to be jiggled, for the most part. But I'm sure there's some people that do the opposite. But let me just say, if I ever own a coffee shop, which I would never do because working, you know, owning a business in food service, which seems very volatile, just doesn't interest me. Real talk, if I ever owned a restaurant, straight up, as much as I have a problem with the corporation, I would probably want it to be a franchise place like a Subway or a Starbucks. I have no interest in, like, cooking steaks for people. Like, oh, I've always been so passionate about cooking steaks. I want to open my own steak shop. Not the case. I would want to not lose money on my business, if possible. Anyway, the point is, all I'm saying is I don't think in my entire life I've ever seen a Starbucks be like, we're shutting down. Okay? No matter where they are, there's a huge appetite. What I'm going to do, if I was ever to own a public space with a limited amount of washrooms, I'm doing what airport bathrooms do, or airplane bathrooms, I should say, and I'm putting that little thing on the outside that says either green, vacant, or red, occupied, and then when you turn the lock, it shows whether it's occupied or vacant. Is it a little bit less classy? Absolutely. Dude, we cannot take these deals. Maybe we could take Dark Bomb, but... Why did we get extra damage there? Oh, adrenaline panic power. Yeah, that's right. Let's see, maybe there's an HP upgrade or something in here. I found pills. Full health, okay. Power pill. Range up. That's fine, we'll just leave. I'm very happy with this. We'll go to our curse room first and maybe, hopefully get a key. But that's it. You know, I always... Sometimes we'll eat at cool restaurants because we want to pretend that we're part of, you know, the city's young and fashionable elite. And they have these bathrooms that are like, I cannot tell if anybody's in them until I go in. Some places, you know, it's a handle, you open it, there's 20 stalls, and you're like, that's okay. Some places, it's just a bathroom. You gotta wait until somebody pops out, or you gotta knock, and then over the music, you're like, did I hear occupied? I don't know. Sometimes, when I jiggle the handle... I still, in my head, I have like a rehearsed script. That's like, what if they went to the bathroom, but for whatever reason they didn't lock the door because people are weird. And they're like, sorry, I forgot to lock the door. And I'll be like, no, that's my bad, I should have knocked. Even though in my head I'm like, I shouldn't have freaking knocked. Now, I'm not suggesting that these are major... Whoop! You know, major concerns that I occupy my life with. Sometimes I think I'm misrepresented. People are like, man, it seems exhausting to be NL. It's not really like that, you know? It's not like I live my life in a constant paralysis of, like, wanting to make sure that I handle bathroom etiquette the right way. It's more like, you know, we have these social situations as humans where I don't think we've ever really defined the way that... There's no codified way to handle it, you know? Which is fine. The humans are, you know, they got big brains. They can figure it out for themselves. And you know, people are relatively tolerant. Nobody's going to be like, you should have knocked. And then they'll punch you in the face. But, like, you think that there would be, like, a universal standard. Like, there's a universal standard for some things. Like, if you bump into somebody, you say, oh my god, I'm sorry. You know? There's no... conversation to be had about, like, oh, what do you say in that situation? Everybody, you just apologize. Lucky rock. But it doesn't work that way for everything. Some things, you know, human beings deal with on a regular basis, but we don't have a standard for understanding. And that's what I'm trying to tease out, is like, what's okay, what's not okay. Is it okay to rip a carton of eggs in half because you only need 6 eggs? The populace has spoken and they say no, and I agree. What's better, knocking or jiggling on a public bathroom door? I still say jiggling, but I'm willing to accept that not everybody's going to feel the same way for now, and so be it. You know, what's the correct way to flag down a server that is not paying attention to you? So everybody agrees, you don't snap. Snapping's really bad. But do you say, oh, excuse me? Do you go, waiter, waitress? You know, that seems disrespectful as well, but at some point, you know, you gotta figure it out. You gotta find some way to get that attention, I guess. If you just wait, you could be waiting forever. And sometimes there's like, you know, not urgent, but important things to be taken care of. Like, hey, I ordered the pasta, and instead you gave me a plate full of broken glass. What's up with that? And they're like, oh, check the name of the restaurant. And I'm like, oh, it's the restaurant Shattered Glass, based on the Peter Sarsgaard and Hayden Christensen movie, based on the true story of journalistic impropriety in the early 2000s. I should have known. And they're like, yeah, nah, you know the Super Burger? It's actually just a Big Mac reskinned. See, if you haven't seen the movie, you're not familiar with the story. It's about somebody who plagiarized a lot of their... Or not plagiarized, but I guess like made up most of the articles that they had produced for a major magazine. And, you know, it's frowned upon, to say the least. But he's still out there doing it with his Dead Cells review, apparently. Anyway, so the point is, if you're not familiar with gaming industry drama, that probably didn't make much sense, but more power to you. You've got the galaxy brain in this situation. As I see it, at least. Now, how's the run going? Very, very, very good so far. I'm not worried about character unlocks. We're going to do them by accident, in all likelihood. So, I would like to go 2 floors without taking damage. But when they say 2 floors, what do they mean? Basement plus caves, or basement 1 plus basement 2? Because I thought we did that last time, but I might have... taken damage on that boss trap room after bragging about how we inadvertently got Basement Boy. Okay, don't worry about it. One day we'll get it. The number one... And that, I mean, that's so good right there. The number one place this, like... Really? I guess I haven't unlocked you yet? Okay. The number one place where I feel like I really could have dealt with, like... or done with a class that would have helped me out is when I crossed the Canada to US border. I do think, you know, you have an education to educate yourself when you go to another country. I don't dispute that whatsoever. But when I cross the border and they go anything to declare, I go, I don't know what that means. Well, what I say is no, because I deliberately take nothing across. But I don't really know what the question means. Oh, dude. That is painful. I know in spirit what it means is like, hey, do you have anything that might not be okay given the stipulations that you should be familiar with? Like, are you bringing 400 bottles of tequila with you? In which case you'd be like, hey, I got some tequila. And then they'd be like, okay, please pay us $80. But I don't know what's okay. If you went to a brunch place and got blueberry waffles... And then they're like, oh, are you done? And you're like, yeah, but can I get it packed up? And then you cross the border with that prepared meal of, like, blueberry waffles. Do you have to say, yes, I have some blueberries in the car? Because they're really, like, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, they're huge sticklers. Fruits, vegetables, and meat products, you know? I don't know if it's food safety or, like, tariffs or whatever, but I understand. I believe there's a good reason. Yeah, you would, you sheep. I believe that there's a good reason, but I don't know the spirit of it that well. So I don't know. Are cooked blueberries okay? Are blueberries from an established, you know, restaurant okay? Or does it have to be a, is it raw blueberries? Or blueberries from, like, a farm that are freaking them out? I don't know. I don't know. But I also don't want to be... By the way, if you're like, of course that doesn't matter. Well, then why don't you just give me a class? With like a weekend course or something that's like... Probably like a 45-minute lecture that's like, here's how you cross the border. That'd be fine. Instead, you know, I had 2 choices. I either feel like a smuggler, because my wife has some McDonald's French fries, and I go, nothing to declare, officer. Have a nice day. That's right, I dismiss them at the border. I say, you have a nice day, I'm going on ahead. Or I go, we have some produce? And they go, oh, what is it? Some prepared McDonald's French fries. And they go, what are you, like, you're a nerd. Get out of here, nerd. You're not welcome in our country. The USA is no nerds allowed. See, I don't know, is the thing. I just want some clarification. I'll take Stompy. I don't love it, but I'll take it. I'm very happy for the angel deals, by the way, but we should keep in mind that at some point we are going to want to take bad angel deals just so that we've already had Steam sale once, so let's do that. Hey, we want to take bad angel deals just so that we can knock them out, more or less. You know, because we might never intentionally take... I mean, Dead Sea Scrolls was a good one to knock out, but it's a spacebar item. It's kind of a different story. If we have the choice between two items, we're always going to take the better one once everything's unlocked, but we got to get to that point in the first place, obviously. Ooh, should not have walked on that. Anyway. It's on the forefront of my mind because PAX is coming up. I'm not trying to be a nerd about it. Like, I'm sure that what would end up happening is... you know, you'd be like, I don't have anything to declare. And they'd be like, what's in the bag? And you'd be like, McDonald's. And they'd be like, well, isn't that something to declare? And you'd be like, I'm sorry. I just, you know, I didn't realize that that counted. And they'd be like, no problem, sir. Just remember for next time. That's fine. You know, you can make mistakes in life and then, you know, just endeavor not to make them again and you're good. Why did I not get hit on the way in? That was weird. Not complaining. Just saying. But it's on my mind because there's PAX and, you know, it's always, I mean, we're going down to the States next weekend, Seattle, for Penny Arcade Expo. We had friends from America that were up in Canada this weekend, so I had the border stuff on my mind to some extent. Got my mind on the border and the border on my mind. It's always interesting to me, like, our friends are from San Francisco, and they came up, and one of the things they said is, like, people are so polite here. And that is actually, first off, downright insulting. I'm only 90% joking. To some extent, I'm like, hey, Canadians can call other Canadians polite, but don't you dare call us polite. That's like, I don't know, it seems like if you call someone polite, it's like you're punking them out. It's like if one of your dude friends was like, you know, oh, Ryan, you're so polite. You'd be like, what'd you say about me? I'll be the rudest dude in here. Ain't nobody is ever going to accuse me of being polite. Ah! I don't know what... It's just the rudest sound I could think to make on a short notice there. But it's very funny to me because I live... From my perspective, I think I actually live in, like, the rudest city in Canada. And I was like, dude, I don't disagree with you necessarily. I guess I haven't spent enough time sustained in the United States of America to know if I feel that way. But I feel like people are equally, by and large, if you took an average, they're like equally nice in Canada as they are in America. But I definitely do think Canadians are more polite. But that doesn't mean we don't talk, you know, crap about you behind your back, you know? Like, the most... And again, if you live here, I'm not going to apologize, because first off, you wouldn't apologize to me for anything if you lived here, in my experience. Secondarily, if you like living here, more power to you. You know? I think I'm very cognizant of the fact I don't want to say, like, oh, X city sucks, you know? Because if you live there, it makes you feel bad, and also you probably disagree. You know, different people have different things they want from a city. You know, they want certain cultural norms, or they value certain cuisines, you know, even stuff like that, as small as it might seem, matters. Or they're like, oh, there's great government jobs here, you know, there's good universities, and I'm a professor of whatever. So, you know, all this stuff, you know, every city's probably got something for everybody, or something for somebody, depending on what you're looking for. But the city I always think of as, like, the most impolite in the U.S. is Boston. Almost every time I've been to Boston, I have had an interaction with somebody working in the service industry that I would describe as prickly, which literally happens once every 100 times almost anywhere else I've ever been in my entire life. Where you'd be like, hey, can I get a table for 6? And they're like, I don't know, can you? And you're like, may I get a table for 6? And they're like, yeah, that's better. Okay, I guess we'll be going someplace else then. But I believe that Bostonians, you know, if they saw you, if you got in a car wreck or something, you were passed out in a snowbank, they'd be like, holy freaking God, you moron, are you okay? We gotta get you to a hospital. You know, in Canada, they would be like, oh my Lord, I'm sorry this happened to you. We're gonna get you to the hospital. And then when we got home, we'd be like, what? Help this friggin' idiot today. Just different ways that the niceness manifests itself, you know? I think we are polite up here. We apologize a lot, but I try to realize that just because people are impolite, by my standards in other parts of the world, particularly in the United States, that doesn't make them worse people, you know? Just culturally, you know, there's a difference there. And when it comes to, I don't know, charitable donations or, you know, showing goodwill to those in need or et cetera, it's totally possible for a polite person to be kind of a dickhead. And it's totally possible for an impolite person to, you know, be very charitable and serviceable, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, you don't really think that there's never been a situation where, like, Bill Gates, even after he's gone through his renaissance of becoming, like, a philanthropist, there's gotta have been a moment. You know, the dude is worth, like, $7 billion. Surely within the past decade, he's told someone to kiss his ass, right? Surely he's had a moment where he's like, hey, you know what, Steve? I don't want to hear this anymore. Frig off. I guarantee it's happened. But, you know, he's also, he drank a glass of his own urine to prove that his water filter worked. So, like, you know, he's a good guy, even if sometimes maybe he's a little impolite. But I don't know if he's impolite anymore. But, you know, there's stories from way back in the day. Anyway. That's all I'm saying. It's not an anti-American sentiment. It's very pro-American sentiment. And I'm saying that because, I mean, it's the truth. Right, I can't donate to the donation machine. We should have a pill in here. It is a health up. Why not? Hey, let's go. Maggie and the tank. Come. Maggie and the tank. Okay, forget blood or boss rush. We don't really care. And I will say, I think that that's going to be, what I just said will, in all likelihood, annoy Canadians more than it annoys Americans. Because the fact that we're polite is a mark of personal pride, but not all Canadians are nice. Not all Americans are nice either, I'm sure. I'm just saying, politeness and niceness, I think, are related, but not necessarily, you know, one-to-one. I know many polite people who are, you know, highly, highly rude when they're in private. Now, what defines you? The way you act, or the way you act in public, or the way you act in private? The way you act in public, I think, means more, to be honest. It's like the difference between, like, good intentions and good actions. Dude, Black Lotus. That's a very rare item. Chaos has helped us out a ton here. But still, I don't know, but I will say, it's nice to be polite. It feels nice. And I don't know if it's just if it's a Canadian-US difference, but I think in the US, to some extent, there's a stigma that politeness equals weakness. Whereas in Canada, we don't see it that way. Like, the most insulting thing, like, if you want to fight a Canadian, you call him buddy. And I know you're gonna be like, I'm not your buddy, guy. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I'm glad I didn't realize I was dealing with an intellectual. Now that I know we're on the same intelligence weight class, we can start truly talking as equals. See, that's polite, not necessarily nice. But you would also get sick of, like, every time your country gets brought up, someone will be like, you know, hey, have you heard of South Park? You're like, yeah. Yeah, I've been alive for, like, you know, more than 5 minutes. I've heard of South Park. You ever see their episodes where they show that Canadians talk funny? Dude, the height of entertainment. You ever see This Hour Is 22 Minutes? No, what's that? It's a show where they interviewed Americans and asked them to congratulate the current Prime Minister of Canada, Jean Poutine! And the hundreds of them said, see, we can do it too, is all I'm saying. Dude, so I also want to point out, I think this will be the end of this run, which has been a very good one, but Someone on my subreddit posted, has NL ever made the joke, "You depend on our protection, yet you feed us lies from the tarot cloth"? And I'm gonna steal your joke, because it's great. First off, you posted it on my subreddit, so no rights reserved for you. La 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 la. Ooh, we might as well. I don't even remember what this, like, will this count as a mom heart? I don't have any idea. Eden's been unlocked. Thoughts arrive like butterflies, etc., etc. I haven't done Shoal in a long time. For those not aware, that's the System of a Down song, BYOD, but it's Bring Your Own Bombs. Yet you'll feed us lies from the tarot cloth. Well, they say tablecloth, but you get the idea. I thought that was a great joke. I love it because it's about an item that shows up often, which means I can use it all the time, like we used to use, you know, to find him immediately of Mega Man. I'm just saying, we're not so different, you and I. I think our country could use a little bit more edge, too. Not too much more. Like, I think we got enough edge. Like, with 98% of the way there. But we could be less deferential at times. I do think that Vancouver is an impolite Canadian city, though. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I have become more impolite from living here. But the town I grew up in, and now this seems incredibly strange to me, but you could be walking, quote-unquote, downtown, and if you see another person, maybe you're like the only two people on the block, you would hold up your hand and be like, hello, and they'd be like, hey, how's it going? You don't know this person. What? Oh, you are an invisible man? You would just say hello to them because you happen to be on the same street at the same time. Now, I don't think that that's weird, because you know, what is the definition of weird? It's something that's unusual given the, you know, the norms of society or the medium in which you're speaking of, probably. But I will say, if I was walking in downtown Vancouver and another dude held up his hand and said it, well, I wouldn't consider it weird, because I would be like, and this is not, you know, necessarily meant to be braggadocious, but if it happened to me, I would be like, that's a dude who knows me from the internet, and that's fine. You know, hey, what's up, dude? Doesn't bother me. Of course, if anything, beyond that, it's even flattering. But if it was like, you know, someone that didn't look like they were in my typical demo, it was like a 70-year-old lady, and she held up her hand and was like, hello, I would be like, what do you want? Not because I would be like offended, but I would be like, we don't talk to strangers here. It's a city of like a few million people. You know, when you pass, it's ships in the night. You just... I don't know if it's like, the idea is you're like dissolving a threat or something like that. If I say hello, they're gonna know that I'm not, you know, a threat to them or something like that. But I definitely grew up where, you know, I remember one time I was walking to work. It was like 7:30 a.m. and I passed the dude and I was like, hey, and he was like, hey, nice shoes. That was an interaction I actually had in my small town. That has never happened to me in Vancouver. And if somebody said that to me, I would be, and this is not a me problem, I get this sometimes, you know. I get that if you don't live in a metropolitan area, it probably seems like we're being very callous. It's far from the case. This is the normal mode of human behavior here. I would be like, this guy is not from around here, which is okay, or he's about to try to sell me some Herbalife, or he wants me to work for Cutco, or he's trying to give me a Bible of some denomination. And all of that, you know, relatively par for the course. I'm just saying it's not a normal human interaction here. And don't ever call us polite. I skipped the ending accidentally. But we did unlock Judas, and, I mean, have a good run, all things considered. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.